He was disabled for 38 years. And when Jesus saw him lying there, he realized he had already been there a very long time. 38 years this man was at this pool. So Jesus asked him, "Do you want to get well?" Pretty simple question, right? Do you want to get well? I think a lot of us would jump to, well, heck yeah, I do, right? Like, let's do this. But here's what he did. Here's what he said. "Sir," the disabled man answered, "I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I'm coming, somebody goes down ahead of me." "Get up," Jesus told him, "pick up your mat and walk." Instantly, the man got well, picked up his mat, and started to walk. Now that day was the Sabbath. There's a whole lot that goes into that. So the Jews said to the man who had been healed, "This is the Sabbath. The law prohibits you from picking up your mat." He replied, "The man who made me well told me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" "Who is this man who told you, 'Pick up your mat and walk'?" they asked. But the man who was healed did not know who it was, because Jesus had slipped away into the crowd that was there. After this, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "See, you are well. Do not sin anymore, so that something worse doesn't happen to you." The man went and reported to the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him well. Therefore, the Jews began persecuting Jesus because he was doing these things on the Sabbath. So there's a whole lot into that story. Actually went through verse 16. It's a little bit different on the version on the screen, so I apologize. But this man, check this, and this was a story. This was a myth back in the day, that this pool, that when it was stirred, it was being stirred by an angel. And the myth was that whoever was the first person to get into the pool would be made well. So all of these lame, paralyzed, blind people are just surrounding this pool, waiting for the water to be stirred, because that was an angel touching it, and the first person to get into the water was going to be made well. And this man, so Jesus shows up knowing that this man had been there for 38 years and asked him, "Do you want to get well?" And he didn't even say yes. And how many of us that God is trying to speak to us, God is asking us, do you want to be well? Do you want to be healed? Do you want to go into the purpose and the future that I have for you? And we're making excuses to stay exactly where we are, or we're making excuses why we are still where we are. Trust me, I've done that so many times, and I'm blaming other people. It's not my fault I'm still here. I got nobody to help me. But guess what? We've got people to help us. And a lot of times we're putting up walls because of past experiences that we're not allowing them to help us. We're not allowing them to bring us to that next level.